Here we are at Mount Arbel, a new baby calf. It's his first chance of getting a look at on live stream. I wanted to get closer up, but I think it's better just to leave them. It's not that young, it's actually he's a little older than I thought. I think it's actually a female, but I'm not sure. So let's not disturb them. And we're headed to sunrise this morning up here in Mount Arbel. This is a little stile here to go through, so when I'm going to lift up this bar here. This lady is looking very serious here. I shall not pass, don't worry. I will leave your territory there for you. Oh, I often intended to mention the other day I had a real mishap with the post. I think there are different settings in the Facebook, and so there's the profile, which is the basic starting point for all Facebook participation. And then there's the page. So since the beginning I did all my posts on the public page because the profile is limited to participation. And number-wise is limited to 5,000 followers, and I don't use it for posting except for the German live streams on Friday evenings at the moment. All these bushes coming a flower. Isn't that beautiful? And so I put up the post. I think I had been in the profile. Oh, look at these birds. And so the video got into the profile. I thought I had lost it, but it was there. And I just copied the link over to the page. Learning as we go. Today there's a very big drama, and I see it as a reading of both readings together, which might sound a little bit strange to put these two readings together. But we have the reading of the end of the flood and the covenant God forms with mankind. This is the first covenant. It's an agreement, a mutual agreement. That's the idea of covenant. And it's the first time we have covenant in the Bible, in the order of the Bible. After the destruction of the flood. We're talking about destruction now. We definitely remember right away all the collapsed homes and buildings in Syria and Turkey. And Syria is actually, the little hill is right across here straight from us. There's better visibility today, we can see it. That hill that's sticking up in the center of the screen is actually inside the Syrian border. And then obviously we can't get Turkey, but we can see up to Lebanon. Beyond those hills is Lebanon in the distance. So we see the incredible destruction of the earthquakes. And the point I want to emphasize today, or that I see that's calling me out here, just drawing me out, is how in the reading of Noah, this covenant with God, there's such an emphasis on the dignity of the human being. Watch where you walk here, please. There's such an emphasis on the dignity of the human being. On every human being. It's expressed in graphic terms with the blood of a human being. And God demands accountability for the life of every human being. So nobody can attack a human being. Nobody. Any human being. It's a universal thing. And the reason is because every human being, and this is what's so powerful in the reading today of Genesis chapter 9, is the emphasis on the foundation for that attitude. Because each one of us is made in the image and likeness of God. Of course, as we sadly know, this principle and understanding and policy has been so callously trampled upon by humankind, by human beings, by peoples, by individuals, by communities. The failed respect for the human being, for the life of the human being, at all stages of life, in all circumstances of life, from the poorest little barrios and tents to the houses of royalty where people were slain and poisoned for power grabs, and all kinds of variously motivated conflicts. This is our path along here. I don't know, I'm impressed when I read it because we have in the very beginning the creation account, man is made in the image and likeness of God. And then to see this statement, this believing community understands God's emphasis of this value of the human being. The human being is intangible. We cannot touch the human being. And the big turnaround in the gospel, in contrast, is how to the path that's chosen to redeem humanity. And it's the path by God himself to redeem humanity. And even Jesus' closest disciples resist him. Peter, no, you cannot go down the road of that degree of self-giving. We have to accomplish this transformation of humanity by power, by knocking over the enemy, by a triumph of human strength and capacity and cunning and ability. And actually that's what we disciples of Jesus understand, that that's not the path. The path is a path of human freedom, education of human freedom, discovery of love, that gift of love. That will blossom in every human being, to the point of total self-sacrifice, not total annihilation of the enemy, total self-sacrifice, total self-giving. And Peter says, no, you can't do that. You can't go and be crucified. We could dress it up with more words right now, because we're looking at it from this angle, not from before, but from afterwards. No, you can't go and get crucified. You can't go and forgive your enemies from the cross. You can't go and let them do that to you. You have all the power to stop them. And that's condemned by Jesus. Get behind me, Satan. It's a diabolic way, because the way of redemption is going to be through the respect for the freedom of the human being, through the flourishing of the educated freedom of the human being, through the sacrificial self-giving of the human being. And that's not totally a novelty, because we see that in parents for their children. The amazing thing is, how this story of the flood, which was so frequently and differently present in many ancient cultures, is a vehicle then for the chosen people in the way it's presented here in Genesis under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, is a message that God is love. That God is not like the Greek gods in those times, all filled with human passions, ravaging human beings, conquering kingdoms, fighting among themselves. It's just a projection of humanity. Here we have a total transformation of sacrificial, self-giving love as the path. And of course, we can't be scandalized at Peter's rejection, because who of us wants to do that? Who of us wants to go down that road spontaneously, especially to lay down our lives for our enemies, for those who are hostile to us, for those who have harmed us? How could we do that? Here we have another little calf. Like mom, like calf. Hey, that's younger calf than the one we saw there earlier. He was standing in the wrong place behind his mom when she unloaded, so he's all dirtied up. That one is a little bull. And here we have an older calf. Maybe it's from the other lady there. A little older, sturdier, quite a bit older actually. But I have lost my skill to judge the age. Hello there. How are we doing here? Get a close look at you. Doing very well on his mother's milk and learning to graze. So we see our own lives and all the challenges and difficulties we have. And to be part of that self-giving dynamic and not that conquering dynamic, not that hurting dynamic, that aggression dynamic. A participation in this whole movement of transforming humanity that has borne so many fruits, despite the fact that we still have all these pains of conflict and suffering and wars. And we see that generous outpouring of help to Turkey and Syria from all over the world. Compassion, kindness, mercy. And this is, look at Mount Hermon. Look at Mount Hermon. Glorious in the rising sun. Even though we didn't see the sun disk, but it's just coming out now as we're about to finish. And right up at the foot of Mount Hermon is the fountain of the Jordan River. And that's where Caesarea Philippi is, and that's where the gospel reading from today is located. That change of strategy that humanity needs. Self-giving, sacrificial love, not destruction of our enemies. Maybe destruction of enmity and transformation of enmity into brotherhood. How good and how pleasant it is for siblings to live together in reconciliation, reconciled. Working together. We're going to serve. God bless you as you go to serve today. See you later, alligators.